What it do, my YTG? It's your boy Hendrix. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, what it do to you too? All right, this is a video. I came across this channel on Twitter and I watched one of the videos. I believe it was one of the videos with AZ FUD. It was essentially will AZ FUD's game translate, or basically taking a deeper look at AZ FUD. And I love the fact that this video, or that video that I watched, was talking about what we talked about on this channel, about not just players like AZ FUD, but Lauren Betts, almost as if these videos are made as maybe a deep dive on some of the players that we talk about, that a lot of the players that, by the way, that I use the eye test on, and not just the eye test, but I try to configure things and put it into context for you guys. And I think if we watch this video, we will actually get a deeper dive of the athlete, and you guys can also judge my eye, because these are things that I usually say on this channel. Shouts out to Josh Felton is the name of the channel. I'll drop his link down in the description below. But he basically made a video after I watched the AZ one. He made a video on Lauren Betts, and the title of this video is Lauren Betts ready for the WNBA? Will her game translate? And I was just like, oh, after watching that AZ FUD one, we have to watch this one just to see. This is the question a lot of people have been questioning me about, and I've been trying to tell y'all what I think is going to happen. So I'm glad we have this video. We'll see what points are made in it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start it up right now. I will mute up for this one too. Let's go.
Rarely has a player come along who's intrigued me like Lauren Betts. At 6'7", she's a callback to the traditional centers of yesteryear, but where does she fit in this new era of space and pace? And most importantly, will her game translate? To understand where Lauren's huge potential lies, we have to start with the promise of her game-changing defense. For starters, you probably didn't even realize that Lauren lost weight going into her senior year. Last season, she played exclusively as a drop and level coverage big, where she was able to shut off the paint from attackers in pick and roll. Over the last 2 seasons, Lauren has posted a monstrous 8.5 block percentage, and her opponents are shooting only 49% at the rim with Betts in the lineup, a testament to her game-changing rim protection. Players routinely underestimate her foot speed to keep up with wings and forwards on the perimeter, and on the inverse, guards underestimate her closing speed to contest jumpers while playing off ball screens. This season, UCLA mixed their coverages up a bit more, asking her to switch onto the perimeter, and this is the main reason her block percentage dropped this year compared to last year. But we saw flashes of her versatility and just how difficult it is to score on her when she switched onto the speedy Jelani Cambridge for most of their Big Ten tournament game. I was honestly amazed by Lauren's foot speed this year and how the loss of weight made a difference. I mean, she turns to a full-on sprint to chase down Mila Holloway in transition, and what I'd say is the closest thing we'll get to a 40-yard dash in the sport. She occasionally has moments where she's caught flat-footed. This hezzy is impossible for her to recover from, and I actually think UCLA's switching scheme, while impressive in showcasing her solid perimeter ability, took away her best asset, which is still protecting the rim. Betts doesn't have an explosive jump off the ground. She doesn't block this shot despite being on time with the rotation, but there are so many times where she barely needs to leave her feet or travel that far because her height and wingspan does the job. She always has pretty good awareness and reaction time to make 2-on-1 plays at the rim pretty often, but I wouldn't say she's an elite switch defender, especially not last year. And this brings into question what's the ideal weight for her to play at the next level, because the weight factor will have rippling effects on the rebounding aspect of her game too. She's a very strong offensive rebounder, but I'm not sure if she's strong enough to be as impactful on the glass as some of her collegiate numbers would indicate. If we compare her numbers to some of the better offensive rebounders in the WNBA during the Hoop Explorer era and look at their collegiate numbers, Lauren's offensive rebound percentage drops pretty noticeably against stronger, more physical competition. It also...
Okay. This is where I'm gonna need my props. Because basically what Josh is saying, He's essentially saying what we say on this, or what I say on this channel. Don't let the numbers fool you. Don't be blinded by the numbers. You have to keep the number. Numbers aren't everything. Yes, they don't lie, but you have to keep them in context. You got to look at them in context. So while people may say, oh, Lauren Betts is a great rebounder, she averages so-and-so rebounds a game, she was pulling down double doubles. You got to look at this in context. And this is exactly what he's doing, which I appreciate so much, because here you see in context what her rebounding looks like. Sorry, here's what you see her rebounding look like when you actually look at her numbers in context. So let's keep it going.
Isn't at the level of some of the other monster rebounders in recent WNBA history, and her profile is closer to an Anissa Morrow, which isn't bad by any means, but certainly doesn't project her to have tier 1 offensive rebound influence at the next level. I think the biggest separator between her and some of these rebounding titans is her feel away from the ball. She doesn't look to fill the lane here, which could lead to a layup or better inside position, but her arms are still long enough to get the board. And she also rarely high points the ball, which she can get away with against shorter players, but it won't be nearly as effective against taller, more physical bigs. She does have moments where she gets into good position for rebounds. She also has good hands to reach back for the ball and gets putbacks quite frequently there. And her long arms are genuinely insane. Even when she gets moved out of the way on box outs, she's still able to get in position for some of these. But her high center of gravity is a problem because she's pretty skinny for her height. So she lacks the functional strength to move bigger wings and stockier bigs. She also brings the ball down
out of the way,
rebounds, which, while it is a problem, can be corrected with good coaching. And this high center of gravity makes it tough for her to get inside position on offense in the post. Two of the most physical bigs in this draft, Oldacre and Beers, both owned her on defense in the post, where you saw Betts' slimmer frame pose a problem. Even in her revenge game against Texas.
Did we not bring that up? Did I not bring that up? I have to say did I not bring that up? Did I not say that one of my concerns with Betts is that lower? Now Josh is saying like she lost weight or she took off some weight. I'm not sure if it's the weight that, because Josh is signifying that the weight is part of the reason why she can't really hold her own on the block. I just attribute it to her lower body coordination and her lower body strength, or sometimes upper body strength. Yes, she has a high center of gravity, but I don't think skinniness necessarily is the reason, because she took off a few pounds. I don't think that per se is the reason. One of the very first clips in this video, we watch her damn near lose her balance, damn near like get her legs crisscrossed in a pretzel just off of trying to get the rebound or save the ball from going out of bounds. I don't think it's the weight. I think it's just lower body strength and lower body coordination. I've played against players skinnier than me that have moved me out the way. Trust, it's a lot of the time, and I'll have like 15, 20 pounds on them. It's a lot of the time, it's not necessarily the weight, but it's just getting her lower body stronger. If she's going to have a high center of gravity, you got to get her lower body strength higher as well. So I think that's where we kind of disagree, but I know what he's getting at.
In the Final Four, she only had a 1-to-1 rim to non-rim shot attempt ratio, so she wasn't really carving out easy looks for herself either, despite having a very good shot making game. Betts is no doubt one of the most dominant.
I gotta pause it right there. I'm sorry, I gotta pause it right there. So Josh just said that despite her shot making, she wasn't having the best shot selection, or giving herself the best opportunities to score. Again, I'm not looking for credit, but guys, I'm telling you, this man got stats with this, and respect to him, because you put stats in the video, you got video clips of all this stuff. I know that's hell to edit. Respect to the editing and the clipping. This man got stats and clips on his videos. I've told you this. I've told you guys all of this off the eye test. I'm not looking for credit, but don't say I didn't tell y'all.
Post scores in college history, Her 1.1 points per possession on post-ups is 4th best since 2016 among volume post scorers, ahead of players like Naz Hillman, Liz Kitley, and Angel Reese. So the numbers support that she's a good post scorer, but that doesn't mean she'll be an effective one at the next level. Remember, Synergy only tracks players that
Shouts
Betts
out Naz
chooses
Hillman.
to post up. In this case, it's often smaller players that are lighter than her, but at her new weight, she hasn't been able to be effective at all against bigger players and has been fading away and taking longer 2-point shots to compensate. So this is what prevents me from calling her an all-time post weapon in college, and it gives me pause for her offense as presently constructed to be able to translate to the next level. Her free throw percentage is only at 62.5% over her college career, which
Real.
makes jump shot improvements murky based on her touch indicators, but I won't say it's out of the equation given the volume of non-paint shots she took last year. The question I have is if the changed shot diet is actually better for her long term. UCLA's offense is built around her, and despite the overwhelming amount of talent producing an elite college offense, it often bogged down at times when the emphasis was on getting Lauren an entry pass when she can't get good positioning. There's no doubt that Lauren is a very good post weapon at the college level, and because smaller teams are scared of her taking over a game with her scoring, it opens up passing windows for her when teams double. Her passing in non-double team situations is solid but not spectacular for her position.
Yep.
She delays slightly in making this skip pass in the short roll, and she doesn't look for outlet pass opportunities very often either.
We called
One of
that out in the
underrated parts
video
of
with
Lauren's game
Betts on this
season
channel.
has been her transition scoring. The added mobility has empowered her to run the floor more often this year, which has set her up for easier shots near the basket. And UCLA actually sets it up for Betts to look for these early scoring opportunities, which could have some pretty strong value relative to position if she can maintain this mobility at the next level. So, what does this mean for Lauren's functionality on offense? Well, I think she does have a very good catch radius, which is how a decent bit of her baskets out of the post come from, and I think she can be a solid passer to find cutters too, but she'll have to revamp her entire game as an offensive player to be a screen and roller and provide some off-ball value besides rebounding, and right now she's a dreadful screener. Betts tends to avoid contact on her screens, moving out of the way instead of setting the tone here, and I actually think her screens make it harder for her guards to get downhill instead of easier.
This man talking
Now,
facts.
we've seen bad screeners turn into good ones at the next level.
Facts.
Aaliyah Boston and Kiki Iriafen are two recent examples of this.
True.
But both players had a stockier frame than Lauren.
True.
Notice how her leg buckles in when she sets this screen, a sign she's a bit too skinny right now. Whichever team that drafts Lauren will need to develop
Not
this part of her
skinniness,
game
lower
to
body
ensure
strength.
She's not a negative on offense at the next level, but still, her stealing fascinates me. She's already a decently efficient scorer because of her height and length, posing threats near the basket, and I think she'll add strength as she matures. But it's unlikely she'll ever be a classic post scorer, and I think she should at best be your third offensive player on a serious team. But a jump in physicality could add another layer to her game, not just as a scorer, but as a rebounder and defender. And it can escalate her defense to an all-world level. And if that happens, Lauren Betts is a starting center at worst, and perhaps, if the screen and rolling develops, she could even be something more.
Alrighty, that's basically gonna do it for this video. Let me look at the player comp Josh had was Roy Hibbert. You know what? That's actually Roy Hibbert. That's accurate. I'll try to throw in a WNBA player comp, but if it's Roy Hibbert, hold on. If Roy Hibbert is your player comp, that's essentially Camila Cardoso. And this is what I've been saying. I feel like her WNBA comp would be Camila Cardoso, Roy Hibbert, Lauren Betts. That's relatively all in this. Yeah, that's actually not a bad player comp. Offense, good offense, rebounding that will have solid, not spectacular in that net possession value, weight plus height. COD or COG. We'll skip over that. It makes any post scoring potential unlikely. Yeah, so I mean, Josh has pointed out some of the things we talked about. We have talked about that on this channel. Above average passer, I wouldn't say that. Lacks shooting touch outside of the paint. A lot of the time she gets double teamed. It's almost kind of like the Angel Reese thing, except she's not going to be the type of player to jack up the shot. She kind of struggles with the double teams and with the triple teams and even passing out of it when she's open. A lot of the time she'd be traveling when she passes out of it. That's just facts. And you kind of saw it in this video as well. So I wouldn't call her an above average passer, but I would say I like the fact that she does have relatively good reading of the offense. Like she knows when a player is going to be open. If you can get her smarter with recognizing, as soon as I get this ball in my hand, before I even turn and look at the other side of the court, this is who should be open, she'll be okay at that. Then I'll call her an above average passer, because now she's processing way faster. She's processing probably the next 2 passes. Get her to a point where she can see ahead of the play, like 2-3 steps ahead of the play, then I'll call her an above average passer. Will need to reinvent herself on offense to play in the dunker spot. We kind of talked about that as well, where I said, give me Lauren Betts and I will give you an MVP, because I don't trust WNBA development. I don't think they understand that you kind of have to reinvent Lauren Betts' offensive game. Defense, insane shot blocker, great gravity she does have. I will say, when she gets to the pros, I think there's a lot of sorry guard play in the W as well. Don't get me wrong, but some of those opportunities that you see in college where these players are scared to attack Lauren Betts, in the pros, you're more likely to come across guards or smaller players that are just like, they'll look at Lauren Betts as lunchtime. Like, they'll see you waddle out there on the perimeter and they'll be like, oh, please come here. There are more players like that in the pros than in college. Good mobility in senior season. Good but not great defensive rebounder. Doesn't foul. Will need to put on weight. Play primarily in drop coverage. Will play primarily in drop coverage to maximize her defensive value. If she plays drop coverage in the W, that's not a good idea. So I'm not sure about that. Lauren Betts cannot play drop coverage in the W. Boy, Marina Mabrey will play drop coverage on Caitlin Clark. That's not. Yeah, you can't play drop. Nah, see, that's one of my other concerns. They're gonna bring Betts out on the perimeter, and because she's now out on the perimeter, someone most likely is gonna be open on the block. Someone is probably gonna have more free space on the block. For instance, let's say, or unless she's on the block as well, that lack of lower body strength, that lack of, lower body coordination, I think that's going to catch up to her. It's gonna leave her cooked on the perimeter or on the block, right? As we talked about in the video, Oldeker and Beers were kind of struggles for her because they are bruisers, they're bigger bodies, right? She can't hold her own as well, so when she goes up against these more stocky players, that's the result. So he talked about so many things that we've talked about on this channel in terms of the reason why I'm not hyping Lauren Betts out to be this grand old player, especially when I feel like her player comp is Camila Cardoso. The lower body stuff is a problem. The shot creation stuff is a problem. The post work, I don't know if that's going to translate, because it's easier to dominate the players that are smaller than you in college, but now she's going to be going up against much bigger players, stronger players. So did this not low-key confirm just the eye test I gave y'all? We talked about her rebounding. We talked about her offensive rebounding. We talked about her movement. We talked about her shot creation on the post, holding her own on the post, her strength in the post, her strength on the floor, her defensive rotations, not making herself effective in the spots where she should be making herself effective. The freaking court awareness. Did we not talk? Oh my gosh. The court awareness on the outlet passes. We covered that. That was all off the eye test. And here Josh Felton has the stats and clips to back all that stuff up. Say what you want about me, bro. I know what I told y'all. It's hoops. It's never personal. It's just hoops. That's going to do it for this video. If you all enjoyed it, you know what to do. Subscribe if you're new. It's been your boy, Hendrix. If you want to see more videos like this, I probably have another reaction video dropping soon. But if you do want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Subscribe if you're new. It's been your boy, Hendrix. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Stay blessed. And I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.